The desert night stretches endlessly, a vast and silent ocean of sand and sagebrush under a sky so deep and dark it feels almost infinite. Each star seems to pulse softly, distant and steady, like a heartbeat of the universe itself. The wind whispers gently across the ridges and valleys, carrying with it the faint scent of dry earth and desert flora, a quiet reminder of the timelessness of this place. Occasionally, the rustle of leaves or the distant call of a coyote breaks the stillness, but mostly the world is suspended in a hush, a suspended moment in which time feels both slower and more expansive. Here, in this serene emptiness, it is easy to feel both small and profoundly connected, as if the desert itself holds its secrets close, waiting for those willing to notice. It is in this quiet, almost hypnotic environment that something unusual begins to draw attention, something that does not belong to the familiar rhythm of desert life. Flickers of light appear far off in the distance, dancing just above the horizon. At first, they are subtle, almost imperceptible, tiny glimmers that could be mistaken for distant stars or the reflection of headlights on the rare desert road. But as one's eyes adjust to the darkness, the lights move in patterns that defy expectation. They shift with a deliberate intelligence, hovering, weaving, sometimes disappearing entirely before reappearing in places that seem impossible. There is a calm in the observation, but also an undeniable sense of curiosity, a gentle tug at the mind that asks, what could be causing this? Across decades, many have witnessed similar lights over the Nevada desert, each story layered with mystery and wonder. Ranchers recall evenings when the sky seemed alive with motion, lights tracing impossible trajectories over dry plains. Travelers remember the fleeting moments when headlights alone could not explain the shimmering orbs hovering silently, almost inquisitively, above the road. Pilots recount experiences high above the desert, radar screens showing objects that vanish without warning, leaving only the memory of an impossible encounter. Each story, whether documented in official reports or whispered through local lore, shares the same sense of quiet astonishment, a soft, almost meditative recognition that something unusual is unfolding. The desert itself seems to lend a strange credibility to these experiences. Its remoteness, the absence of city lights and human interference, allows the eye to notice details that are otherwise lost in busier landscapes. Shadows fall differently across the rugged terrain, and the mind, attuned to the subtle shifts of the environment, becomes a witness to phenomena that might go unnoticed elsewhere. Psychological researchers note that isolation and darkness can heighten perception, making even ordinary lights appear extraordinary, but in these cases, there is often consistency that challenges easy explanations. Multiple observers, sometimes miles apart, report seeing the same lights behaving in ways that seem intentional, as if guided by an intelligence just beyond understanding. There is also a sense of timelessness in these moments. Standing under the vast sky, one cannot help but feel connected to all who have looked upward before, from the indigenous peoples who told stories of spirits and celestial visitors, to early settlers navigating the desert with little more than stars to guide them. Each flicker of light seems to echo through history, a quiet reminder that while the desert changes slowly, some mysteries endure. In this calm, contemplative space, there is no rush, no immediate need to understand. One can simply observe, letting the mind float alongside the lights as they twist and shimmer across the horizon. Tonight, as we begin our journey into these strange phenomena, the desert invites you to relax, to breathe deeply, and to allow your thoughts to drift alongside the dancing lights. There is no danger here, only curiosity, and a slow unfolding of mystery that has captured the imaginations of many before us. In this stillness, the story of Nevada's mysterious lights begins, not with a loud announcement, but with a gentle invitation, to watch, to wonder, and to fall into the soft rhythm of the desert night. And as you listen, perhaps the flickering lights in the distance will feel almost like companions, guiding you deeper into a story that is both soothing and infinitely intriguing, a story that will carry you into the heart of mystery itself. Nevada's desert is a place of stark contrasts, a land that feels both eternal and ever-changing. Its valleys stretch wide, interrupted only by rugged mountains and isolated mesas, while the horizon seems to stretch endlessly, unbroken by buildings or roads. The land is harsh yet beautiful, a tapestry of sand, stone, and sparse vegetation that thrives in the relentless sun. Sagebrush, juniper, and scattered cacti sway softly in the wind, and the silence here is profound, almost tangible, broken only by the distant cry of an owl or the gentle rustling of a desert hare. This is a landscape that commands attention, one that draws the eye upward to the vast sky where even the smallest flicker of light seems magnified against the darkness. The isolation of the Nevada desert has long shaped human interaction with this land. Indigenous peoples, including the Western Shoshone and Paiute tribes, navigated these territories for centuries, developing deep spiritual connections with the desert and its skies. They told stories of celestial beings, lights in the night, and mysterious travelers from the stars, narratives that blended observation with cultural meaning. When European settlers arrived, bringing mining equipment, horses, and wagons, they too were confronted by the vast, unyielding landscape, and often recorded their experiences with awe and trepidation. Early travelers and ranchers noted strange reflections, unexplained glows over the plains, and patterns in the sky that seemed to resist conventional explanation. These historical threads suggest that the desert itself has long been a backdrop for unusual and mysterious phenomena. Psychologists and environmental researchers note that isolation can profoundly affect perception. In environments like the Nevada desert, where the human presence is minimal and visual references are limited, the mind can become hyper-aware of even subtle changes in light or movement. Shadows fall differently across sand dunes and rocky ridges, and temperature shifts create mirages that can make distant objects appear as if they are floating or moving independently. Fatigue, especially during long drives across vast open spaces at night, can further heighten sensitivity to visual stimuli, sometimes creating illusions. But what makes the Nevada lights so compelling is the consistency of reports from multiple observers. Even trained pilots, law enforcement officers, and long-term residents report seeing patterns and behaviors in the lights that defy easy scientific explanation. The desert also carries a quiet, almost meditative energy. Traveling its roads at dusk, one notices how the sky seems larger than anywhere else, its darkness unbroken and its stars blindingly bright. The contrast between the deep black of night and the faint flickers of distant lights can make ordinary phenomena appear extraordinary. A car passing on a faraway highway, a distant ranch light, or even reflections of moonlight on rocky outcrops can create illusions, but the sheer number of witnesses describing unusual aerial lights over decades suggests that there is more at play than simple misperception. The geography, combined with the clarity of the night sky and the solitude of the environment, sets the stage for experiences that feel both mystical and remarkably real. Military and technological presence adds another layer of intrigue to Nevada's deserts. The state is home to remote testing ranges and restricted areas, including the infamous Nevada Test and Training Range near what is popularly known as Area 51. Since the mid-20th century, these areas have hosted experimental aircraft testing, flight exercises, and sometimes classified operations. While many lights in the sky can be attributed to human activity in these zones, numerous eyewitness reports describe lights performing maneuvers that do not correspond to known aircraft capabilities. Historians and aviation researchers note that even with advanced technology, some aerial patterns recorded over the desert remain unexplained, lending credibility to the persistent sense of mystery. Cultural perspectives further deepen the desert's enigmatic reputation. Writers, filmmakers, and artists have long been inspired by the Nevada desert's wide-open spaces and unusual light phenomena. Novels and films often draw on the haunting beauty of these landscapes, using them as a canvas for stories about the unknown, the extraterrestrial, and the inexplicable. Local folklore incorporates both indigenous legends and modern UFO narratives, blending history and imagination. Scholars suggest that the desert's combination of isolation, extreme natural beauty, and historical encounters with unexplained lights makes it a psychological and cultural magnet for mystery, curiosity, and storytelling. As night falls fully over the desert, one senses the anticipation building subtly. The stage is set, not just geographically, but historically and psychologically, for the phenomena that will capture attention and imagination. The desert is no passive backdrop. It is an active participant in the unfolding story. Its silence, its vastness, and its unique conditions create the perfect environment for the mysterious lights to appear, for the imagination to awaken, and for the mind to hover between calm observation and quiet wonder. The landscape invites reflection, a gentle awareness that the world holds more than can be immediately seen or understood, and that some mysteries, no matter how carefully scrutinized, retain their magic. In this vast and quiet desert, we begin to understand why the lights are so compelling. They are not simply points of illumination in the night sky. They are symbols of curiosity, wonder, and the human desire to seek answers beyond the familiar. And as we move from the serenity of the Nevada landscape to the historical accounts of those who first encountered these lights, the story will expand, guiding us deeper into the heart of mystery itself. Nevada's skies have long been a canvas for unusual and unexplained phenomena, with reports of strange lights stretching back decades. Even before the modern UFO craze of the 20th century, travelers and residents occasionally documented brief glimpses of lights that seemed out of place, moving in patterns that could not be easily explained. Pioneer diaries and local newspapers sometimes mentioned wandering lanterns or glowing orbs over the desert, often dismissed as campfires, distant travelers, or atmospheric anomalies. Yet, the frequency and consistency of such accounts suggest that something more elusive captured the attention of those who traversed the lonely expanses of the desert. The remoteness of the region meant that even brief sightings were deeply memorable, etched into the minds of witnesses who had few other distractions. The mid-20th century marked the beginning of what is often considered the modern era of UFO phenomena, coinciding with post-World War II technological leaps and Cold War anxieties. In the early 1950s, reports of flying saucers began appearing across the United States, and Nevada became a notable hotspot due to its vast open spaces and proximity to military testing grounds. Ranchers in the central and southern deserts reported seeing bright lights hovering silently over the plains, sometimes moving with extraordinary speed or changing direction abruptly. Some lights were described as spherical, others as elongated, often glowing in shades of orange, red, or white. Witnesses frequently noted the uncanny precision of movement, suggesting intelligence or control rather than natural or mechanical causes. One of the earliest widely documented incidents occurred near Las Vegas in 1952, when multiple witnesses, including airline pilots and local residents, reported unusual lights moving across the desert sky in formations that seemed coordinated. Newspapers at the time described the lights with a mixture of skepticism and fascination, noting that official sources insisted they were likely misidentified aircraft, flares, or astronomical phenomena. Yet the pilots' accounts indicated that the lights performed maneuvers inconsistent with any known aircraft of the era, hovering without sound, accelerating abruptly, and disappearing without trace. Historians point out that such reports, while often marginalized in mainstream media, laid the foundation for Nevada's enduring reputation as a center of aerial mystery. In addition to civilian reports, military personnel occasionally noted lights that could not be explained by conventional means. During training exercises over Nevada's remote ranges, pilots reported glowing orbs that appeared on radar but had no physical confirmation on the ground. These incidents were often logged in internal reports, some of which were later declassified. Researchers who have studied these files emphasize that while many sightings could be attributed to atmospheric distortion or radar anomalies, a small percentage of cases remained entirely unexplained, reinforcing the idea that Nevada's skies held genuine mysteries. Local lore also contributed to the growing narrative. Ranchers, miners, and travelers developed a shared vocabulary for describing these phenomena: dancing lights, ghost orbs, and sky travelers. Stories circulated in small towns, often accompanied by sketches or informal reports sent to regional newspapers. What stands out in these accounts is the repeated mention of the light's behavior: hovering silently, moving against the wind, and appearing in seemingly intelligent patterns. Psychologists suggest that the consistency of these reports across decades indicates that they are not merely figments of imagination or stress-induced hallucinations, but observations rooted in genuine experiences, filtered through individual perception and interpretation. The cultural context of the 1950s and 1960s also influenced how these sightings were interpreted. The era was marked by rapid technological advancement, the beginning of the space race, and heightened Cold War tensions. Anything unusual in the sky could be feared as enemy activity, a spy device, or experimental military technology. Government agencies, including the Air Force, launched investigations to determine whether sightings posed national security threats. Among these was the famous Project Blue Book, which cataloged thousands of reports nationwide. In Nevada, many cases were examined and attributed to misidentified aircraft or celestial phenomena, yet some remained inexplicable even after careful scrutiny. This duality, official dismissal paired with eyewitness insistence, created a sense of unresolved mystery that continues to captivate researchers and storytellers alike. Eyewitnesses often described encounters with an emotional nuance that deepened the mystery. Ranchers recounted evenings where lights appeared suddenly above their livestock, moving gracefully and silently before vanishing as abruptly as they arrived. Pilots spoke of moments when instruments indicated objects in the sky that were visually invisible or behaved in defiance of known aerodynamics. These accounts, grounded in the credibility of people accustomed to careful observation, add a layer of realism to the phenomenon. Even today, historians and researchers cite these early reports as foundational in understanding how the Nevada desert became a focal point for aerial mysteries. By the late 1960s, Nevada had developed a reputation not only for its military testing and harsh landscapes but also as a place where the unexplained seemed to manifest more frequently. Stories of lights in the sky became interwoven with local culture and folklore, establishing a legacy that continues to influence both serious researchers and casual enthusiasts. The historical record shows that while technological explanations and environmental factors can account for many sightings, there remains a subset of events that resist conventional explanation, encouraging continued investigation and fascination. As we move from these historical encounters, the story begins to shift focus from the general backdrop to the personal, detailed accounts of those who directly observed the mysterious lights. These first-hand experiences, recorded over decades, bring the phenomenon into sharper focus, blending human perception with the enigmatic beauty of the Nevada desert night. The true mystery of Nevada's desert lights comes alive in the personal experiences of those who have witnessed them firsthand. These accounts, collected over decades, offer a window into a phenomenon that is both deeply strange and remarkably consistent. Imagine standing alone on a remote desert road, the night stretching endlessly around you, and suddenly noticing a glow hovering silently above the distant mountains. It is not the light of a campfire, nor the reflection of headlights. It moves with intent, drifting upward, shifting shape, and sometimes splitting into multiple smaller lights that pulse gently in synchrony. Such experiences are described again and again by locals, travelers, and pilots alike, each observation unique yet connected by common threads. One particularly compelling report comes from a rancher who spent decades tending cattle in the central Nevada desert. Late one evening, while returning from checking the outer fences, he saw a cluster of amber orbs hovering over the distant valley. He described them as moving in a precise formation, ascending slowly and then darting horizontally in ways that no conventional aircraft could achieve. The silence of the night made the movement even more surreal, There was no hum of engines or mechanical sound. Later, when he spoke to neighbors who lived miles away, he discovered that they had observed the same lights, describing similar patterns and behavior. This consistency across multiple observers lends credence to the idea that what he saw was not merely a trick of perception or imagination. Pilots and aviation personnel have also contributed a remarkable layer of testimony. In the 1970s and 1980s, flight instructors and student pilots reported seeing luminous objects at altitudes that defied typical flight patterns. One instructor recalled observing a bright, bluish-white light hovering above a ridge. When he attempted to approach it, the object accelerated rapidly, disappearing from sight in a fraction of a second. Instrument readings sometimes corroborated visual sightings, showing anomalies that could not be immediately explained by radar or atmospheric distortion. Aviation experts note that while human perception can be influenced by fatigue and stress, trained pilots provide detailed accounts that often include precise measurements of speed, altitude, and trajectory, making their testimonies particularly compelling. Ranchers, too, often describe encounters that blend the ordinary with the extraordinary. One story recounts a family noticing a set of small, greenish lights flickering over their grazing cattle. The animals were unusually calm, almost mesmerized by the lights, which moved slowly and seemed to inspect the herd before vanishing without a trace. Anthropologists and psychologists suggest that such interactions, whether with natural or unexplained phenomena, can evoke strong emotional responses, including awe, fear, and deep curiosity. Witnesses often report a lingering sense that the lights were observing them as much as they were observing the lights. A subtle, almost imperceptible awareness of intelligence or intent. Some encounters involve extended observation periods, allowing witnesses to track unusual behavior over time. A traveling couple, driving along a remote desert highway, noticed a formation of 5 lights moving silently in the distance. Over nearly 20 minutes, they watched as the lights separated, hovered independently, and then rejoined in a perfect geometric pattern. They noted the absence of sound, the uniform brightness, and the apparent independence from any natural wind currents. When they later shared their account with local authorities and UFO researchers, it was met with both skepticism and interest. Researchers often stress that repeated observations over long periods, especially by multiple independent witnesses, are among the most compelling evidence of phenomena that defy conventional explanation. Interestingly, the psychological component of these experiences cannot be ignored. Isolation, darkness, and the vastness of the desert can heighten perceptual awareness, making ordinary objects appear extraordinary. Yet in many accounts, witnesses are careful to distinguish between possible natural explanations and what they genuinely believe they saw. Statements often begin with cautious acknowledgement of potential mirages, aircraft, or atmospheric effects, only to conclude with a description that cannot be rationalized by conventional science. This blend of skepticism and certainty enhances credibility, as these individuals are not merely credulous observers but careful, conscientious witnesses. Eyewitness accounts also reveal variations in the characteristics of the lights. Some describe small orbs that glow softly, drifting like lanterns in the night. Others report large, structured formations that move in coordinated patterns, sometimes hovering in one place for hours. A few accounts describe sudden bursts of motion, lights appearing to vanish entirely before re-emerging elsewhere. These differing behaviors have fueled debate among researchers and enthusiasts alike. Are these natural phenomena, advanced human technology, or something entirely beyond our understanding? The witnesses themselves rarely claim to have answers. They describe what they see, leaving interpretation to the observers and experts who study the cases. In addition to physical descriptions, many witnesses convey a subtle emotional undertone to their experiences. Awe, curiosity, and a gentle tension permeate their stories, yet fear is often absent. Observers frequently describe a serene beauty in the lights, a quiet fascination that draws attention without causing panic. The desert, with its profound stillness and wide horizons, amplifies this effect, creating an environment in which the mind can fully engage with the unknown while remaining relaxed and contemplative. In this way, the lights serve not only as mysterious objects in the sky but as instruments of reflection, prompting witnesses to consider the broader universe and humanity's place within it. Historians and researchers emphasize that the consistency across decades is notable. Whether it is the rancher of the 1950s, the pilots of the 1970s, or contemporary travelers, certain patterns emerge: hovering behavior, silent movement, rapid acceleration, geometric formation, and color variation. These repeated characteristics make it difficult to dismiss the phenomena as isolated illusions. Moreover, multiple independent witnesses frequently report observing the same lights at the same time, often separated by significant distances. This convergence of testimony strengthens the case that the lights are real phenomena, experienced by diverse observers under varied conditions. As we reflect on these first-hand accounts, it becomes clear that the Nevada desert is not merely a backdrop for strange lights. It is an active participant in a series of experiences that engage both perception and imagination. The isolation, the vastness, the clarity of the night sky, and the historical record all contribute to an environment in which the extraordinary can be observed calmly and consciously. These eyewitness accounts bridge the gap between historical reports and modern investigations, providing a human connection to the mystery that will guide us into the next sections: government documentation, media coverage, and scientific scrutiny. As the mysterious lights over the Nevada desert continue to appear, it wasn't long before official eyes began to take notice. Government agencies, particularly the United States Air Force, became involved in investigating reports of unidentified aerial phenomena in the region, concerned both with public reaction and potential national security implications. During the mid-20th century, with the Cold War at its height, any unexplained movement in the skies above the western United States was taken seriously, if not always publicly acknowledged. The military maintained a cautious approach. Many sightings were recorded, yet often quickly attributed to natural phenomena, experimental aircraft, or atmospheric effects. Nonetheless, not every case could be easily explained, and some were catalogued as officially unidentified, leaving room for continued speculation and investigation. One of the most notable initiatives was Project Blue Book, established by the Air Force in 1952 to systematically collect and analyze UFO sightings. Over its two-decade operation, Project Blue Book gathered thousands of reports from across the country, including numerous accounts from Nevada. Official conclusions often emphasized mundane explanations: stars, weather balloons, conventional aircraft, but the project's records reveal that a significant portion of cases remained unresolved. Some Nevada sightings were flagged due to their precision, consistency among multiple witnesses, and behavior that defied conventional flight patterns. Declassified documents, which have since been reviewed by historians and UFO researchers, show that these unexplained reports were treated with cautious curiosity, suggesting that even official investigators recognized the enigmatic nature of the lights. Local law enforcement also played a role in documenting occurrences. Officers patrolling remote desert highways occasionally received reports from travelers describing lights hovering silently or moving unpredictably. These accounts were taken seriously, yet officers often faced the challenge of verifying the phenomena in real time. Some patrols attempted to follow the lights, only to see them vanish or accelerate at impossible speeds. In combination with civilian reports, law enforcement records provide a remarkable window into how ordinary observers, ranchers, travelers, and locals interacted with something they could neither fully explain nor ignore. Media coverage amplified the public's fascination with Nevada's mysterious lights. Newspapers in Las Vegas, Reno, and smaller towns occasionally ran stories about bright, hovering lights in the desert, often with illustrations or sketches based on eyewitness descriptions. Early reports were frequently tinged with skepticism, but the sheer number and consistency of sightings prevented them from being completely dismissed. Over time, television broadcasts and magazine features brought national attention, presenting the lights as both a curiosity and a potential scientific mystery. This coverage often shaped public perception, oscillating between playful intrigue and serious inquiry. It is notable that the media rarely presented these sightings as hoaxes. Instead, they emphasized the human experience of encountering something strange and unexplained, which further deepened the mystery for audiences. Scientific and civilian researchers also entered the conversation. Organizations dedicated to the study of unidentified aerial phenomena, such as the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, NICAP, and later independent researchers, meticulously cataloged sightings, comparing reports across time and space. In Nevada, they focused on recurring patterns, hovering lights, coordinated formations, and sudden accelerations. Researchers often noted discrepancies between official explanations and witness testimonies, emphasizing cases where multiple independent observers reported the same unusual behaviors. These analyses contributed to the idea that the lights were not purely subjective illusions but phenomena with real, observable characteristics. Despite official attempts to explain or dismiss the lights, a tension remained between public fascination and governmental caution. Air Force briefings occasionally downplayed sightings, attributing them to misidentified aircraft or natural phenomena, yet internal reports frequently acknowledged the limitations of contemporary technology in explaining every incident. Historians reviewing these documents note that such duality, public skepticism paired with private acknowledgement of unresolved cases, has reinforced the enduring mystery. For the citizens of Nevada, this tension became a recurring theme. The lights were simultaneously normalized and inexplicably extraordinary, a pattern that continues to captivate imaginations today. Media coverage did more than just report sightings. It also influenced local culture and folklore. Newspapers would occasionally include reader letters, sketches, or anecdotes, creating a feedback loop in which public interest encouraged further observation and reporting. Documentaries and television specials in the 1970s and 1980s brought these stories to a wider audience, often juxtaposing official statements with eyewitness accounts. The effect was twofold. Skeptics were given rational explanations, while enthusiasts and researchers were inspired to investigate further. Over time, Nevada became synonymous with unexplained aerial lights, solidifying its reputation as a place where the boundaries between the known and unknown blur under the desert night sky. The interplay between government reports, media coverage, and eyewitness testimony offers a fascinating perspective on human interaction with the unknown. On one hand, official documents provide a record of inquiry, grounded in procedural rigor and an attempt to categorize and explain. On the other, personal accounts imbue the phenomenon with immediacy and wonder, capturing the emotional and perceptual dimensions that formal reports cannot fully convey. This duality enhances the allure of Nevada's lights, providing both credibility and a sense of enduring mystery. Psychologists and sociologists have also weighed in, observing that the way people report and interpret such experiences is influenced by societal context. During periods of heightened technological and political tension, such as the Cold War, people were more attuned to unusual aerial phenomena, and the media and government responses helped shape perception. Yet, even when controlling for these factors, the Nevada sightings stand out for their consistency, multiplicity of witnesses, and repeated characteristics. This combination of official attention, media amplification, and cultural resonance has ensured that the lights remain both a subject of serious inquiry and a fixture of the human imagination. As the record shows, the government and media have approached the lights from different angles, one cautious and procedural, the other exploratory and narrative-driven, but both have contributed to the enduring significance of these phenomena. Their involvement underscores the complexity of the mystery. The lights are not easily explained by simple misperception or isolated events. The interplay of observation, documentation and public fascination creates a rich tapestry of history and intrigue, one that invites continued curiosity and careful exploration. As we leave the realm of official reports and media coverage behind, the story naturally moves toward broader interpretations, competing theories, alternative explanations, and the more speculative or paranormal possibilities that have emerged over time. These next perspectives build upon the foundation of credible observation, blending imagination with history, science, and human perception, and drawing the listener deeper into the mystery of the Nevada desert lights. The mysterious lights over the Nevada desert have inspired a multitude of explanations, ranging from natural phenomena to experimental aircraft and even to the paranormal. Each theory offers a different lens through which to interpret the events, reflecting both the complexity of the sightings and the diversity of human curiosity. Researchers, historians, and eyewitnesses alike have attempted to reconcile what has been observed with the known laws of physics, psychology, and technology. Some theories are grounded firmly in science, others stretch the boundaries of imagination, yet all contribute to the enduring allure of Nevada's nocturnal spectacle. Among the most plausible explanations are natural phenomena. The desert is home to conditions that can create unusual visual effects. Atmospheric refraction can bend light from distant sources, making it appear to hover or move unpredictably. Similarly, temperature inversions, common in arid regions, can produce mirages that elevate or distort images on the horizon. Some sightings may be explained by ball lightning, a rare and poorly understood electrical phenomenon that manifests as glowing, floating spheres of light. Researchers emphasize, however, that while these natural occurrences may account for some observations, they cannot explain all reports, particularly those involving coordinated formations, sudden accelerations, or long-duration hovering. Man-made explanations also hold considerable weight, particularly given Nevada's proximity to military testing facilities. Secret aircraft and experimental drones have been tested in the region since the 1950s. The famous Area 51 facility, along with other remote ranges, has hosted top-secret programs involving advanced aircraft that could perform maneuvers unknown to the public. Some lights could plausibly be advanced human technology, including reconnaissance planes, high-altitude drones, or unconventional propulsion systems. Yet even experienced pilots and aviation experts note that certain reported behaviors, rapid directional changes, instant acceleration, and silent hovering, do not correspond with known capabilities, leaving room for doubt about a purely terrestrial origin. Another frequently suggested man-made explanation involves civilian activity, including vehicle lights, flares, or industrial illumination. Ranchers, miners, and travelers often generate light in remote areas, which can reflect off terrain or appear unusual under certain conditions. Ballooning and aerial flares, sometimes used for training exercises or celebration, have also been implicated in some reports. While such explanations can clarify certain sightings, they are generally inconsistent with the more precise and patterned behaviors reported by multiple, independent observers over extended periods. Beyond the natural and man-made, the lights have long been associated with paranormal or extraterrestrial theories. Many researchers and enthusiasts suggest that the lights could be manifestations of intelligent, non-human activity. Witnesses frequently describe coordinated formations, abrupt changes in motion, and behaviors that suggest decision-making rather than random occurrence. The notion of extraterrestrial visitation gained traction in the 1950s and 1960s, influenced by cultural fascination with space travel and the nascent UFO phenomenon nationwide. Researchers studying these cases note that some lights appear to follow or respond to observers, implying awareness and intentionality. Some paranormal theories extend beyond extraterrestrials to include interdimensional or psychic phenomena. Certain witnesses describe sensations of altered perception, a feeling that time slows, or even subtle shifts in consciousness during prolonged observations. While these reports are more speculative and less empirically verifiable, they reflect the profound impact that isolation, nighttime desert conditions, and unusual visual stimuli can have on human experience. Psychologists studying these accounts often emphasize the importance of perception, expectation, and suggestion, yet they also acknowledge that these factors alone do not fully account for highly consistent and detailed eyewitness reports. Cultural historians point out that these competing theories are shaped not only by observation but also by the social and technological context of each era. In the 1950s, Cold War anxieties and rapid technological progress primed observers to interpret unusual lights as potential military threats or alien visitors. In later decades, media coverage and folklore reinforced the idea that the Nevada desert was a hotspot for unexplained aerial phenomena. This intersection of environment, psychology, and culture creates a rich framework for understanding why multiple interpretations coexist, each plausible in its own way yet none entirely conclusive. The diversity of explanations is further enhanced by the scientific scrutiny applied to these sightings. Studies of radar anomalies, photographic evidence, and multiple witness reports have often confirmed that many lights behave in ways inconsistent with known aircraft or atmospheric phenomena. In some cases, lights have been tracked moving at incredible speeds or hovering for extended periods, defying gravitational expectations. Scientists emphasize that while extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, the repeated and consistent observations documented over decades suggest that a purely mundane explanation is insufficient to account for all phenomena. Interestingly, some researchers argue that the Nevada lights may represent a combination of causes. Certain sightings may be natural, others human-made, and still others potentially anomalous, creating a complex mosaic of experiences that cannot be neatly categorized. This layered perspective is supported by historical records. While military documents often explain lights as aircraft or atmospheric phenomena, eyewitness accounts sometimes describe behaviors that remain unresolved. This combination of documented observation, technological possibility, and unexplained activity strengthens the case for continued investigation and preserves the sense of mystery surrounding the lights. Finally, it is worth noting the psychological and philosophical dimension of these competing theories. The lights provoke both awe and inquiry, inviting humans to question the boundaries of perception, technology, and reality. They serve as a mirror for our curiosity, our desire for understanding, and our recognition of the unknown. Even if some explanations are eventually confirmed, the broader experience, standing under the vast Nevada sky, observing unexplainable movement, and feeling the gentle pull of mystery, remains a profound human encounter. It is this interplay of possibility, perception, and imagination that sustains the lights as an enduring phenomenon, one that continues to captivate observers while offering comfort and intrigue in equal measure. As we move from these competing theories, the story naturally turns toward the cultural impact of the lights, how they have shaped local folklore, inspired art, and influenced society's collective imagination. Understanding this cultural dimension allows us to appreciate not only the phenomenon itself but also its deep resonance within human consciousness, preparing the listener for the next chapter of the Nevada desert's enduring mystery. Beyond eyewitness accounts and scientific investigation, the mysterious lights of the Nevada desert have woven themselves into the very fabric of local and national culture. Over decades, these phenomena have not only sparked curiosity but also inspired stories, legends, art, and media that reflect humanity's fascination with the unknown. For the people who live and travel in these remote areas, the lights are more than fleeting flashes in the night. They are symbols of mystery, wonder, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. Ranchers, miners, and travelers have shared stories for generations, recounting evenings when the sky seemed to come alive with silent, dancing lights. These tales, passed down orally and later documented in newspapers, have become a part of local folklore, blending observation with imagination, history with myth. Indigenous traditions in the region provide a profound layer to this cultural context. Tribes such as the Western Shoshone and Paiute historically told stories of spirits, celestial beings, and lights that guided or watched over the land. While modern UFO narratives differ in form and interpretation, there is a thematic continuity, the idea that the desert sky holds secrets beyond ordinary human understanding. Anthropologists note that these legends reflect deep cultural and spiritual engagement with the environment, where natural phenomena were interpreted not merely as physical events but as meaningful experiences with moral, spiritual, or cosmological significance. In this sense, the modern sightings of mysterious lights can be seen as a continuation of a long-standing human impulse to interpret the unknown in ways that resonate with the imagination and spirit. In the mid-20th century, the lights began to influence popular culture in the broader United States. Newspapers, magazines, and television shows covered Nevada sightings, sometimes sensationalizing them but also amplifying genuine curiosity. Science fiction films and novels drew inspiration from these accounts, depicting desert landscapes illuminated by mysterious orbs or extraterrestrial visitors. The Nevada lights, while grounded in real reports, became archetypal in popular imagination, a representation of the unexplained, the extraordinary, and the frontier between the known and the unknown. Writers and artists used these phenomena to explore human emotions, fears, and desires, creating works that balanced wonder and tension while inviting audiences to contemplate the mysteries of the universe. Local communities also embraced the lights as part of their identity. Small towns developed informal rituals around sightings, such as evening drives to remote vantage points, storytelling gatherings, and sketching or photographing lights when they appeared. Tourists and enthusiasts began traveling to the desert, hoping to witness the phenomenon themselves, creating a subtle form of pilgrimage that blended curiosity with meditation. Sociologists suggest that this cultural engagement helps people process uncertainty and the unknown. By framing the lights within narratives and community activities, observers find meaning in experiences that might otherwise be unsettling or inexplicable. The interplay between folklore and science is particularly intriguing in Nevada. On one hand, local legends and storytelling preserve the emotional and experiential dimensions of the lights, capturing the awe, fascination, and subtle tension they inspire. On the other hand, scientific investigations and government documentation provide a structured, rational framework that complements the cultural narrative. Together, these perspectives create a rich tapestry in which the lights exist both as observable phenomena and as symbols of human curiosity and wonder. Historians note that this duality enhances the allure of the desert lights. They are at once concrete and abstract, physical and psychological, ordinary and extraordinary. Artists and writers have often emphasized the aesthetic qualities of the lights, capturing their ethereal beauty and elusive nature. Descriptions frequently highlight color shifts, delicate movements, and the interplay of illumination against the stark desert landscape. These artistic interpretations echo eyewitness experiences, creating a feedback loop in which culture both reflects and shapes perception. Some photographers and documentarians have attempted to capture the lights on film, while poets and essayists describe the emotional resonance, the quiet awe, the sense of insignificance beneath the vast night sky, and the meditative calm that accompanies observation. In this way, the lights transcend mere physicality, becoming a conduit for reflection and imagination. Tourism and popular media have also reinforced the cultural impact of the Nevada lights. Annual UFO festivals, guided night tours, and documentary films draw enthusiasts from around the world, eager to witness or learn about the mysterious phenomena. While some visitors approach with skepticism, the experience of standing under the desert sky, surrounded by stories and history, fosters a sense of connection to both the environment and the human imagination. The lights are no longer merely isolated events. They are part of a shared cultural experience that spans generations and communities, intertwining personal observation, folklore, and media narratives. Psychologically, the lights serve a dual function. They evoke curiosity and wonder while providing a gentle, almost meditative focus for attention. Observing them encourages reflection on the vastness of the universe, the limits of human understanding, and the quiet beauty of the natural world. Cultural narratives, whether indigenous legends, local folklore, or modern media interpretations, provide context for these experiences, helping witnesses process what they see and feel. This layering of observation, storytelling, and interpretation enhances both the allure and the credibility of the phenomenon, creating a deeply immersive cultural landscape in which mystery and meaning coexist. By understanding the cultural impact of the Nevada lights, we gain insight not only into how the phenomenon is perceived but also into why it continues to captivate imaginations. These lights are more than unexplained objects in the sky. They are symbols of human curiosity, markers of historical and spiritual continuity, and catalysts for stories that inspire reflection and wonder. As the narrative moves forward, modern investigations and technological advancements will provide new perspectives, blending contemporary science with the rich cultural heritage that has grown around these enigmatic desert lights. In recent decades, the mysterious lights over the Nevada desert have continued to capture attention, but the approach to understanding them has evolved significantly. Modern technology has introduced tools and methodologies that were unimaginable to earlier witnesses. High-resolution cameras, infrared imaging, radar tracking, and sophisticated data analysis allow researchers to observe and document phenomena with a level of precision that adds both clarity and intrigue. These contemporary investigations build upon decades of historical accounts, eyewitness reports, and government documentation, providing a bridge between anecdotal observation and empirical study. Yet, despite advanced equipment and rigorous methodology, many of the lights remain as enigmatic as ever, defying simple categorization and maintaining the sense of mystery that has always surrounded them. One major avenue of modern investigation involves high-altitude observation and remote sensing. Researchers have established observation points in areas historically associated with frequent sightings, equipping them with telescopes, long-range cameras, and thermal imaging devices. By monitoring the night sky over extended periods, they are able to track patterns of light that may not be visible to the naked eye. In several instances, the lights exhibit behaviors that challenge conventional explanations, hovering in place for extended periods, splitting into multiple points, or accelerating at speeds beyond known human technology. While some phenomena can be correlated with commercial aircraft, satellites, or atmospheric effects, others remain entirely unexplained, highlighting the limitations of our current understanding. Radar data has provided another important perspective. Military and civilian radar systems occasionally detect aerial objects corresponding with reports of the mysterious lights. In some cases, the objects appear on multiple radar systems simultaneously, suggesting that they are not merely visual illusions. What is striking in certain instances is the discrepancy between radar returns and human observation. Objects may appear on instruments but not be visible to the naked eye, or vice versa. Researchers note that such inconsistencies reinforce the idea that the phenomenon encompasses both observable physical events and perceptual experiences, bridging the domains of objective measurement and subjective observation. Photographic and video evidence has also become a significant component of modern studies. High-definition cameras and long-exposure techniques allow for detailed documentation of light behavior, movement, and intensity. Analysts examine these recordings frame by frame, seeking patterns, anomalies, and potential explanations. In some cases, footage reveals light configurations that shift in ways inconsistent with conventional aircraft or drones. Color shifts, apparent pulsation, and sudden changes in trajectory are recurring characteristics noted in multiple independent recordings. While skeptics often point to camera artifacts or environmental effects, the consistency of these features across diverse recordings strengthens the case for genuinely anomalous behavior. In addition to technological tools, scientific collaboration has become more prominent. Universities, private research organizations, and independent investigators share data, compare observations, and develop hypotheses grounded in physics, atmospheric science, and psychology. Some researchers focus on the optical and electromagnetic properties of the lights, considering possibilities such as ionization events, rare atmospheric plasma formations, or interactions with geomagnetic fields. Others examine human perception, studying how isolation, low light conditions, and expectation can shape reports. By integrating these approaches, modern investigations aim to balance skepticism with openness, seeking explanations that account for both observable phenomena and credible eyewitness testimony. Another notable development is the increased transparency of previously classified information. In recent years, the U.S. Department of Defense and other agencies have declassified certain reports related to unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. While many of these documents focus on national security and military encounters, they contribute to a broader understanding of unusual aerial activity, including patterns observed over Nevada. Analysts reviewing these records note that some events defy explanation even with access to classified data, reinforcing the notion that the phenomenon is complex, persistent, and deserving of continued attention. Community science and civilian involvement have also grown, reflecting the democratization of observation. Enthusiasts equipped with high-quality cameras, drones, and night vision technology regularly document occurrences, contributing valuable data. Online networks and forums allow for rapid comparison of sightings, the sharing of observational techniques, and discussion of potential explanations. This crowdsourced approach has led to the identification of recurring behaviors and locations, creating a more systematic understanding of when and where the lights are most likely to appear. Even when definitive explanations remain elusive, these efforts highlight the interplay between community observation, modern technology, and rigorous scientific inquiry. Modern investigations also emphasize the importance of contextual and longitudinal analysis. By comparing historical records with contemporary observations, researchers can identify patterns that persist across decades, including recurring locations, typical times of appearance, and characteristic light behavior. These analyses reveal that while technology and methodology have advanced, the fundamental nature of the lights remains remarkably consistent. This continuity suggests that the phenomenon is not a passing curiosity but a persistent feature of the Nevada night sky, maintaining its allure while challenging scientific understanding. Beyond empirical study, the modern approach to Nevada's lights also recognizes the psychological and experiential dimensions of observation. Investigators note that witnessing the lights can provoke profound reflection, awe, and a heightened sense of connection to the surrounding environment. This duality, phenomena that are both measurable and emotionally resonant, underscores the unique position of the Nevada lights at the intersection of objective study and subjective experience. Researchers frequently emphasize the need to honor both perspectives, acknowledging the credibility of eyewitness testimony while applying technological tools to explore the unknown. Ultimately, modern investigations reveal a fascinating balance. The lights are observable, trackable, and analyzable to a degree, yet they retain a fundamental mystery that defies complete explanation. Technology has expanded our capacity to document and study the phenomenon, but it has also highlighted the limitations of current scientific understanding. Each new sighting, whether corroborated by radar, captured on film, or simply observed by a lone traveler, adds to a growing mosaic of evidence, one that blends history, culture, science, and human perception into a tapestry that continues to captivate the imagination. As we move forward from technological study and modern investigation, the narrative naturally transitions into reflection, contemplating the enduring mystery of the Nevada lights, the human fascination they inspire, and the quiet, meditative experience of standing beneath the desert sky while watching the unexplained unfold. As night settles over the Nevada desert, the lights that have long captivated witnesses take on a different quality, a quiet, almost meditative presence that invites reflection. There is a profound stillness in the desert, a sense of space and time stretching beyond the usual constraints of everyday life. Standing beneath the vast canopy of stars, one cannot help but feel both small and connected, acutely aware of the scale of the universe and the many mysteries that remain beyond human comprehension. The lights themselves, whether distant or near, moving or still, become more than mere points of illumination. They transform into symbols of curiosity, wonder, and the unknown, encouraging observers to pause, breathe, and contemplate. Many who have observed the lights report a sense of calm interwoven with awe. The desert, with its wide horizons and minimal distractions, creates an environment uniquely suited to introspection. The slow, deliberate observation of the lights allows for a gentle mental rhythm, eyes following their movement, mind considering possibilities, heart appreciating the beauty of the night. Psychologists studying these experiences suggest that such moments of quiet attention can induce a mild meditative state, lowering stress and enhancing a sense of connectedness to nature and the universe. In this way, the Nevada lights are not only a mystery to be solved but also an experience to be felt, a bridge between the external world and inner reflection. Personal contemplation often extends to the broader questions raised by the lights. Observers may wonder about the nature of reality, the limits of human knowledge, and the possibility of intelligence beyond our planet. Even without definitive answers, the mere act of considering these questions expands perception, encouraging a sense of humility and curiosity. Some witnesses describe feeling as though the lights are a gentle reminder that the universe is larger, more intricate, and more enigmatic than daily routines and familiar landscapes might suggest. In this sense, the phenomenon is both literal and symbolic. It illuminates the desert, but it also illuminates the mind, inviting thoughtful engagement with the unknown. For those who have spent long hours observing the desert sky, the experience can foster a profound connection to the land itself. The rugged mountains, endless valleys, and sparse vegetation all contribute to a sensory environment in which the lights appear especially striking. The interplay of shadow and illumination, the subtle shifts in wind and temperature, and the clarity of the night sky enhance perception, making each sighting more vivid and memorable. Some observers describe a sense of dialogue with the environment, where the lights seem almost like participants in an ongoing interaction with the desert and its inhabitants. This connection is neither frightening nor overwhelming. It is quietly compelling, drawing attention and encouraging contemplation. Reflection also encompasses the human dimension of the phenomenon. Considering the long history of sightings, from indigenous legends to contemporary observations, it becomes clear that the lights have always inspired curiosity and storytelling. Each generation of witnesses adds to a cumulative narrative, layering personal experience upon historical accounts and cultural interpretation. This continuity reinforces the sense of mystery while also providing a framework for understanding it. Even when empirical data is scarce, the shared human experience of observing, interpreting, and reflecting on the lights creates a subtle, enduring connection across time and space. The emotional resonance of the lights is further enhanced by their unpredictability. Unlike controlled or familiar stimuli, the lights appear spontaneously, often in patterns or behaviors that challenge expectations. This unpredictability invites mindful attention. The observer must be present, noticing subtle shifts in brightness, movement, and shape. In this way, the phenomenon encourages engagement with the present moment, fostering a sense of calm attentiveness. For those seeking rest or mental reprieve, the gentle observation of lights against a silent desert backdrop can be deeply soothing, providing both visual and cognitive focus that supports relaxation and introspection. Even for skeptics or those who question the light's origin, the experience of observing them can be meaningful. The desert itself, with its expansive night sky and subtle environmental cues, offers a form of sensory meditation. Watching lights move across the horizon, contemplating their possible explanations, and acknowledging the limits of understanding can cultivate a sense of wonder and appreciation for the unknown. In this way, the phenomenon serves a dual purpose. It challenges the intellect while simultaneously nurturing the imagination and the spirit. As reflection deepens, one begins to recognize the broader significance of the Nevada lights. They are a reminder of the balance between knowledge and mystery, observation and imagination, certainty and wonder. They invite humility, encouraging the acknowledgement that not every question has an immediate answer. They also invite patience, emphasizing the slow, deliberate process of noticing, contemplating, and integrating experience. For those standing quietly under the desert sky, the lights are not merely objects to be catalogued or explained. They are companions in a shared human journey of curiosity, reflection, and appreciation for the vastness of the universe. Ultimately, this reflective engagement transforms the lights into a subtle meditation on existence. They are fleeting yet enduring, elusive yet persistent, simple yet profoundly complex. The Nevada desert, with its stillness and expansiveness, amplifies this duality, providing a context in which observation becomes a deeply human experience, one that engages the senses, the mind, and the spirit. As the story of the lights unfolds, listeners are invited to carry this sense of quiet curiosity with them, to allow the mystery to linger, and to appreciate the beauty of not knowing while feeling gently connected to the world around them. As we prepare to conclude this narrative, the final section will guide the listener toward a gentle, reflective outro, blending the calm, meditative quality of the desert with a lasting sense of wonder, ensuring that the experience of the Nevada lights leaves both the mind and the spirit relaxed, intrigued, and ready for rest. As night deepens over the Nevada desert, the mysterious lights take on a gentle, almost meditative presence, inviting quiet reflection. Standing beneath the vast sky, the desert stretches endlessly, offering a sense of space, stillness, and calm. The lights themselves, whether hovering softly or drifting across the horizon, are not merely points of illumination. They become symbols of wonder, curiosity, and the unknown. In this serene environment, the mind can release daily concerns and focus on the quiet beauty of the moment, allowing both imagination and contemplation to coexist. These lights connect observers across time, linking modern witnesses with generations past. Indigenous stories, ranchers' accounts, and contemporary observations all speak to a shared human fascination with the sky. Each witness contributes to a collective understanding, layering experience with culture, history, and personal reflection. Modern investigations, technology, and scientific study provide context, yet the core mystery remains, preserving the sense of awe that has always accompanied these desert phenomena. The experience of observing the lights encourages presence and mindfulness. The subtle movements, color shifts, and patterns of illumination draw gentle attention, supporting relaxation and mental focus. Even without explanations, the phenomenon invites patience and openness to possibility, creating a meditative rhythm that balances curiosity with calm. Many observers describe a quiet awe, a sense of connection to the vast universe, and the recognition that some mysteries are meant to be experienced rather than solved. As the lights fade or drift out of view, their memory lingers, a soft reminder that wonder and serenity can coexist. They encourage release of tension, gentle observation of the world, and appreciation for moments of quiet reflection. In this way, the Nevada lights serve as companions, guiding the mind toward rest, supporting introspection, and fostering a sense of peace beneath the desert sky. Ultimately, the Nevada lights remind us that mystery need not disturb calm. They are a quiet celebration of observation, reflection, and imagination, leaving the observer both intrigued and relaxed. As sleep approaches, thoughts of the softly pulsing lights, the starlit sky, and the vast desert landscape create a gentle rhythm, carrying the mind into rest. The unknown, in its subtle presence, becomes a source of comfort, wonder, and calm, a lasting gift of the Nevada night.